What is going on, guys? Welcome to Tony's Tech Talk. I'm Tony Hannity's, and this is episode 19, recorded on June 23rd, 2014. If you have followed me for the last 18 plus shows, that was on my other channel, and now, as you can probably tell, we've brought this over to the official Lazy Tech Guy channel. The reason why is because I didn't want to separate tech with tech. I just want to combine it all. And for the rest of you who want to follow this show, with our other weekly show on Tuesday nights, the LTG show, it just helps you subscribe to essentially both shows without having to subscribe to two different channels. So it's really for your benefit, also for mine, because I want to throw up some other personal videos on my own personal channel and not have you guys be like, what is that? But you can go check it out if you want. It'll be public. Anyways, yeah, we're here to talk about tech, technology, tech news, and technophormia. Is that a word? I don't know. But let's go ahead and get started with something that was really cool. Now, I do work with the client that the client is Microsoft. So the hearing of this news, I actually didn't hear it first from my colleagues. I actually heard it first from the website WP Central, and it was really, really cool to hear it and see it. And what it is Microsoft is increasing the OneDrive space from the standard 7 gigabytes for free to 15 gigabytes for free. And if you have an Office 365 subscription, you will get a whopping 1 terabyte, essentially, for free. So for those of you who don't use OneDrive, this might be another consideration of moving away from the likes of Dropbox or even Box.net, especially if you have Office 365. OneDrive, in a lot of cases, does the same thing as Dropbox. I mean, granted, Dropbox APIs are a lot more readily available and used in a lot more applications out there, since really they were kind of one of the first. But if you're the type of person that's looking for a killer deal, Dropbox gives you, what, 2 or 3 gigs for free, and then you can get the free ones with, you know, if you turn on the automatic upload or if you sign up for some other promotions. So I'm not knocking that, but if you just want to get a bunch of gigabytes for free without having to do anything else except for sign up the account, OneDrive is another option for you. For those of you that have 365, Office 365, which is basically the annual subscription model for Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Outlook, Publisher, Access. That is $100 a year for the 5 licensees, $70 a year for the single licensees, and then you have the option for University. Originally, each user would only get 20 gigabytes, which for the most part was enough, but now they're knocking it up to 1 terabyte. And mathematically, you're going from 20 gigabytes to 1,000 gigabytes, and you don't do anything different except reap the benefits. The question I'm not sure how to answer is, if I'm grandfathered into the 25 gigabyte plan that I got way back in the day, does this mean I still get my 25 gigabytes, or am I knocked down to 15 gigabytes? So for you lucky few, see, I don't know the Shakespeare line, but for you lucky few that got the 25 gigabytes, I don't really know what's going to happen. Hopefully Microsoft notices and they let you keep it, but I don't know at this point. So I guess we'll find out, because this change won't happen until sometime next month in July. And for me, that works out perfectly, because about 2 years ago, around this time, I signed up for a free 50 gigabyte Dropbox program when I was able to review the Galaxy S3, and actually this is the last month that my promotion is going to be valid. So I'm just going to move all my photographs off Dropbox and just put them into OneDrive, and just be that much easier. One thing I do hope to see in OneDrive specifically regarding photos is just a much better photo organization and kind of slideshow tool. So we'll definitely keep tabs on this to see if there's anything coming out from Microsoft and the OneDrive team. But yeah, until then, kudos to you, Microsoft, and thank you very much. All right, moving on to Amazon. So Amazon announced their new Fire phone last week, and about a couple of months ago, they also announced the Fire TV. And up until these like physical hardwares, we were using applications on our respective devices, Android and iOS. Android, as of yet, has never gotten the Prime, the instant video Prime application. I mean, I think they might have the video app where you can download the TV shows if you pay for them. But really, right now, the upgrade to the video application is now on iOS. So Amazon is now bringing free ad-supported TV episodes to iOS, including the much sought-after HBO content, including shows like The Sopranos. So I don't think that you have to be subscribed to Prime. I think what they're trying to imply is that if you just download the app and you have an Amazon account, just to have an Amazon account, like most of us do, this would allow you to at least watch the first episode for free with ads. So let's take into account like Duck Dynasty or The Good Wife, How I Met Your Mother, Sons of Anarchy, Glee. I mean, these are some of the top shows that maybe you missed, and maybe for whatever reason you don't have it on Netflix, or you just don't have Netflix. And if you just kind of want to see how the show is before you dive deep into it, this is a nice free way to do it. Now, obviously, like I mentioned at the beginning of the story, this works on iOS only right now, and an Android app has yet to be announced. But we can assume, hopefully, we'll see an Android app, considering, well, the market's here. That's all I got to say. Yeah, so keep your eyes on that. And for those of you who have downloaded this or plan on downloading this, let us know what free show you watched first, and let us know if you're going to continue it. For just as an example, I noticed that one of the free shows, the first episode, is a show called Leverage, which I believe was on TNT. I gotta say, I always saw the previews and like post shows of Leverage, and I wanted to get into it, but I never did. Now it's finally available on Netflix, and I'm totally into it. So again, if you don't have Netflix, this is a nice kind of way to see what it's all about. And although sometimes the first episode doesn't really do the show justice, I think the first episode is really what drew me into the whole concept of what the TV show is all about. So kudos to you on the Leverage TV show side. But yeah, good job, Amazon. But I think one thing that kind of took the day by storm today was the fact that Google Glass is now available across the pond in the UK. So for those of you, my cousins out there in jolly old England, if you were planning to get Google Glass and you didn't want to spend $1,500 American dollars, well, you can spend 1,000 of your own pounds and get Google Glass yourself. And right now, The Guardian is one of the first, I guess, UK teams officially announcing their first glassware application, very aptly named The Guardian for Glass. So this would give you like app update or news updates, weather updates, breaking news, that sort of thing. And if you go to just the Google's, I guess, if you go to Google's YouTube page and you type in London through Glass, you can see their promo video showing you all these Londoners wearing glass, walking through, going in the underground, checking out those, the farmers markets and things like that. One thing I really do like is they show off that new app, well, not new, but the app where there's the text that's in a different language, and within a second or so it translates it into English. It's called WordLens, if you forgot. That's a company that Google recently just bought. But this is really cool. In correlation to this, also Google has announced, well, I guess not Google, but DVF, or Diane von Furstenberg, they have announced, well, last week, or I guess 3 weeks ago, they announced that Google and DVF were having some sort of arrangement, some sort of I guess partnership, if you will. And now the actual frames are on sale. So if you're a DVF, I said it right the first time. If you're a if you're a Furstenberg fan, we'll just call it that. If you're a Furstenberg fan, or if you like those kind of big, fashionista framed glasses, these are interesting. So these here are some of their standard kind of, just uh, the prescription lenses. So we've got purple, shiny cyan, black, clear kind of ice Java brown, and then these are the shades. These are what, can I, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me a lot of hate mail, but when I see women wearing these, I just think, it's too much. I was going to say another word, but I'm not going to say it. But you know what? To each their own. Not something that I would want. It looks weird, I know, but on the upper left-hand corner, obviously that is for the actual glass part of it. So yeah, essentially these are all on sale right now. You can get them directly from Furstenberg's website, or you can go to another website, and I think it is called Net-a-Porter. Okay, sure. It's a luxury fashion site. And they're actually not too expensive. I was thinking that they're going to be like $300 some, but each of the shades are $120, and the frames are $225. So they're not that bad. If you're used to buying high-end shades like Diesel or Parada, all those other brands, they could be like $400 or $500. I think the most I've spent on sunglasses are nets, and they're like $300. So, again, to each their own. Now I use $10 sunglasses because I just don't care. But yeah, this is going to be on sale, and also you can actually buy the glasses and the Google Glass and frame combo for only $1,800 directly from Net-a-Porter. So go ahead and check that out if that's something that's really big on you. Cool. Up next, Apple is set to be already starting their production for the next iPhone 6 and possibly 6C. It looks that, according to Bloomberg, that of course people familiar with the matter say that the models will be both 4.7 inches and a 5.5 inch variant. So this is kind of like the same concept of what they did with the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5C. Probably the 6C is going to be the smaller of the two, and we'll just see how this pans out. This is definitely a Tim Cook error. You would probably not see Steve Jobs say that, oh, we are giving you options. So Steve Jobs' whole kind of mentality, except for maybe between the different sizes of screens of, I guess, laptops and desktops. But at least when it came to the phone, it was, this is your screen size. This is the perfect screen size. And now it kind of looks like, well, this is the perfect screen size for this demographic of people, and this is the perfect screen size for that demographic of people. And we are catering to all demographics of people, so no matter what demographic you might fall into, we have the perfect phone for you. The question is, aside from the screen size, does this also mean that it's going to be like an S and a C difference, where you're getting last year's technology in the C and brand new technology in the S, or whatever they call it. I guess it's not going to be an S because we just had the S, but whatever. I don't really know. Yeah, so we'll definitely find out, obviously, how much more this is going to pan out. But the fact that we're possibly getting some more production models being built in the next month, we're probably also going to get a bunch of new leaks coming out. So stay tuned for more leaks, because those are always fun to talk about and speculate. Now, Samsung announced a brand new phone called the Galaxy S5 Sport. And if you were like, oh, Samsung just came out with another phone called the Active. Why are they doing this? Why are they building a brand new phone? Well, they're not. Samsung is, Sprint is branding it as the Sport. It's actually the same thing as the Active. It's just Samsung's Sport. Yeah, so it's very ruggedized. It's got the whole water resistant, waterproof kind of aspect. The physical buttons on the bottom, and you could throw it across the room. And compared to a standard Galaxy S5, it would withstand the flight a lot better than the just the standard S5. Also, since you're getting it on Sprint's network, part of Sprint's whole bag on this one is that you're going to get 12 months for free of My Map Fitness MVP, which includes audio coaching, training plans, and live tracking, 6 months of premium Spotify access on a family plan, or 3 months for other customers. So that's kind of cool. That's like $10 a month. Live to the healthy lifestyle by receiving updated smart contextual health and fitness content. And yeah, in terms of the actual hardware specifications of this phone, like I said, it's the same thing. You've got the heart rate monitor, IP67 certification, 16 megapixel ISO cell camera, 2.5 gigahertz processor, 2 gigs of RAM, 5.1 1080p display. And so it's all, yeah, for the most part, when the S5 gets updated, the S5 Sport's going to get updated, as well as the S5 Active. But you know what? It's carriers, so things change all the time, and sometimes you don't get the change. So this is going to be available on July 25th, so another month from now. And this also coincides with the announcement that Sprint is bringing back, or they're, reintroducing your ability to try out their network for 30 days, risk-free. Risk-free. There's an R in there. Risk-free. So last week at Uncarrierize, or I guess they just Carrierize. Is it Uncarrierize? Or at T-Mobile's launch event, or their announcement, they said for 7 days you get a free iPhone. You have to put a deposit. We hold money. If you lose it, we charge you. But essentially, you get a free iPhone for 7 days. You can do whatever the hell you want. We don't care. Test out our network. Whether you're an existing customer or not, just test it out. And that was cool. And now Sprint is saying, oh, they give you 7 days. We give you 30 days. But the caveat is, with Sprint, you have to go in, sign contracts, exchange money, and then you're testing out 30 days. Which is not too bad, because here in the state of California, the return exchange time frame has actually shrunk to only 14 or 15 days, depending on the retailer. So to have a full 30 days in California is kind of unheard of these days. So that's kind of cool. But I gotta say, not a big fan of Sprint. And yes, I've tried them in the last month or so. So Sprint, do what you gotta do. Because also, I know y'all just expanded a bunch of networks again today. They had a bunch of announcements. I guess they don't feel like they need a whole press conference like T-Mobile does. But in any event, they had a bunch of new Spark cities, new LTE markets, and that's all well and good. It's all well and gravy. So if that is more your bag, more something that's interesting to you, go try it out, check it out, and let us know how it all pans out for you. And I would be remiss to mention the whole Google Dropcam kind of announcement. So let me just say this here. Google didn't buy Dropcam. Nest bought Dropcam. And just because Nest is owned by Google, it's not, at this moment in time, it's not necessarily the same thing as Google doing the purchase. Now, I know that might sound a little naive, but hear me out. For right now, Dropcam is under the same privacy restrictions and agreements that Nest is, whereas Google obviously has very much different privacy policies. So the policies that Nest has, that they had before even Google was in play, where everybody out there that used Nest was really happy with, Dropcam is going to be underneath that. They were bought by Nest for $555 million. That's just a little more than half of an Instagram. And yes, that is how we measure things, by the Facebook purchase of Instagram back in 2012, was it? I forget. But yeah, it was We're buying a photo app. What? All right. But yeah, this is cool. I mean, if you've never tried Dropcam, a lot of people use it as a very inexpensive way to have video surveillance and security in their household or their place of business. Essentially, there are two cameras that you can buy. One's called Dropcam, the other one's Dropcam Pro. The Pro, you're going to get a larger field of view, you're going to get better zoom, and you also have a better low light video. They both do audio, they both do video recording, and I think you can pay extra for having video recorded stored in their clouds, which is a big business for Dropcam and now Google as well too. Yeah, and I know a lot of people are really kind of upset about the whole deal on this one because, you know, Google just has this negative connotation that when they buy anything related to home security, you guys have to understand, Google announced this way back in the day when they said Android at home. Now, they didn't really do anything with Android at home, but a vast majority of people were wondering, where is this whole Android at home thing? And now that it's finally coming, you're all scared. And that's what really gets me. It's like, Google right now is one of the only companies in position to really get this at-home automation thing off the ground. I know Apple is doing one too with their home. I think it's called HomeKit. I forget, and that's really cool too. I'm not knocking that, and I really can't wait to see what other things come out of that because iOS. I mean, come on. I mean, a lot of these startups and these automation companies. Nest was obviously one of the first ones. They developed for iOS first. And so for Apple to take advantage of that, you're going to have Hue, Dropcam. I'm sure you're going to have Dropcam in there too. Honeywell, all through that one app or that one centralized, I guess, hub on iOS. We're supposed to get that on Android. So that's going to be interesting to see how all this pans out. And then once all the dust settles, how is this going to relate? Now, what's going to be scary is that if you don't necessarily allow certain things, if you just kind of, if even a year from now, if you're driving home and you get an alert saying, you know, your son just got home from school, but it's not from the Dropcam app, it's from Google, that's going to be a little weird. It's like, well, Google, I thought you said you'd separate from Dropcam. So we'll see how you know, this all adds up. But I'm excited for it because, I mean, if anything, Google has the pockets that Dropcam could, you know, dive into to further develop better cameras, better hardware. And they also have something called Dropcam Tab, I think, something like that, where it's a physical little dongle or piece of paper or something that you stick onto your electronics, and you can set it so when basically it's a tracker, if you will. So if you stick it onto your laptop or onto a cell phone, and it has motion sensor. You could stick it onto your back door. You know, if you have a back door to your house, it's a motion sensor. So if it senses that somebody's opening the back door or someone's taking your laptop, and the only person who's supposed to take your laptop is you, you'll get notified through the respective app. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure they're going to take advantage of that and kind of expand upon that. So, you know, innovation by themselves as a company, they were really great, and a lot of other people, other companies are utilizing their products and services. And I know I sound like a Google fanboy when I say this, but at this moment, I think Google is one of the only companies that can really help further develop their future. I know there was some I guess speculations that Apple was going to buy them around the time that Nest was bought. So sorry, I guess, but Apple could probably buy Honeywell if they wanted to. So that's going to be interesting to see, like what other kind of competition is out there. And I know Dropcam's not the only one. Belkin also has their Wi-Fi enabled cameras, and so that would be kind of interesting. I mean, Belkin does kind of have that kind of Apple-esque look to it, So that'd be cool. So the last thing I kind of want to talk about is something that I don't really get to do a lot because of my day job and family and whatnot. I don't get to do a lot of reviews for Lazy Tech Guys, and I really want to do some more. And also because of my day job in working for the client Microsoft, it kind of puts me in a predicament where I have my Surface and I have all this Microsoft stuff, and it's great, but then when I pull out my phone, it's an Android device. Now, I was told that it was okay to have an Android phone. I'm not forced to buy a Windows phone, and I always say the line that for every Android phone that's sold, Microsoft makes about $5. Again, we don't necessarily know if that's true or not, but it would be kind of nice for me to actually have a Windows phone out there. And due to the nature of my go say Kevin Hartline. That's not the way my checking account's on. No, due to the nature of my upgrades and my contracts and like that, and what's available right now, I really kind of I don't want to really sign into another contract, but because of my relationship with the respective carriers as an editor for Lazy Tech Guys, I was able to snag one of these as a reviewing unit. This is the Samsung ATIV SE. This is one of the only Windows phones that are available from Verizon from Samsung. And one thing that was really interesting to me about this was the form factor of it kind of looks like a Galaxy S4. And when this was announced, I had the Galaxy S4, and I liked it. It was cool, you know. It was one of the cool new phones, and everyone's like, "Oh, you have an S4." But when I started my job, I was like, oh, I kind of want to skin it and put Windows on there. So I actually downloaded an Android launcher that would change everything to look like Windows Phone. But, you know, it's not Windows Phone. And for me to support the company that I also represent, it'd be good to actually try out their products. So, yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to use this. I can't keep it. I'm going to say this right off the bat. I can't keep it. But it's going to be great to use for the next couple of days, I guess the next couple of weeks. And Verizon, I do want to thank you for sending this out as a press unit. So while you guys are here, I'm just going to do a quick unboxing of this. So this is somebody's business card, so I will not show that on camera. I'll show this. See? Woo! All right. And this is the phone. All right. So there's no battery in it just yet. But just to kind of give an idea, we got the Verizon logo on the front. A physical Windows button on the front as well too. Volume rocker on the left side. Headphone jack on the top. Camera on the back. Camera on the front. I hope. Yeah, the camera on the front. LED flash on the back. On and off switch, power switch on the right side, and then your standard micro USB, not USB 3.0, but micro USB on the bottom. It does have this brushed aluminum feel to it, and again, I'm going to have a better video, so I'm not just kind of like showing you. There's going to be a better video, but it has this kind of brushed aluminum or aluminium, which is the actual correct pronunciation, but aluminium feel to it. See, I can do nice slow. Okay, and then on the inside here, if we just use our fingernail, got battery. It does support near-field communication. Micro SD slot, and then of course the micro SIM card. So I'm going to use my own SIM and actually use it as my everyday driver, my daily driver, if you will. Also included in the box comes with the get to know your phone instructions, because of course you got to get to know your phone. There are the standard wall plugs, micro USB adapter, and that's it. Remember when boxes were like this big, like for no reason? They had like the instruction manual was in all the different languages, and they had all the different cords, and it was just too much. So I'm glad that everything's kind of gotten minimalized. But yeah, I will say this: it's gonna be kind of a mind shock to me, because I'm so used to Android, and I've used iOS for a long time, and Android. Truth be told, I have used Windows Phone, but it was Windows Phone 7, and then it was Windows Mobile 6.5 before then. So the last time I used Windows Phone was Windows Phone 7, and I know they've made some drastic improvements. The one thing I do need to find out if it's okay from Verizon for me to download the preview of Windows 8.1, because I don't want to do that without their permission. But if they let me, I know it's going to be that much better, because they got Cortana, you've got all the other cool things and the other things with the coolness, and so yeah, I'm very, very excited. So I'm gonna sign off here and get this started with my own accounts and everything. So Very, very cool. Thank you very much for dropping by. Tomorrow we are going to have our LTG show on this channel, Lazy Tech TV. It's going to be myself and Sean Wilburn and hopefully a special guest, Radford Castro. And like I said, regarding LazyTechGuys.com, please stay tuned. Please stand by. We are going to have a bunch of new stuff go up there. I know Andrew Lee has a bunch of videos and a bunch of reviews. He just put a review up for a new mouse. If you're into gaming and looking for a new gaming mouse. And regarding me getting back into the field and everything, I know Google I/O is in just a couple of days. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it to I/O, even though I'm just literally across a bridge. I could throw a stone, and I would hit Larry Page in the head. God, that would be bad. But I'd get on the news, so I'd be famous. But yeah, I'm not able to make that. But regarding any kind of new announcements and everything, I'm going to be following on YouTube. I'm also going to be watching on the simulcast with Twit and the team there, see like what kind of, I guess, tech analysts that they have to say during the actual event, and it'll be very, very cool. So let's go ahead and check out the Q&A, see if anyone's actually left any questions. Not as of late. All right, guys, then that is it. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.